let Marsha tell the story. It's called Out of the Shadows. Marsha Vanwynsberghe.
It was Thursday, August 23rd. It didn't really matter what day it was because every day truly rolled into the next. It was the same chaos, different day. I was in the kitchen and I could hear that something was brewing. There was screaming and it was intense. That's mine. I hate you. It's your fault. That's mine. I hate you. I hate what you've done. And I have to stop and ask if that's my voice or if it's theirs. I know I have to step in, and I'm so done and so scared and so tired of all of it. Get out of the house. Get out of the house right now. I'm standing in the front door, desperately trying not to draw the attention to the neighbors. I'm praying that I can get through this moment without having to call the police again. They've been here every day this past week. And in this moment, something or someone taps me on the shoulder and says, "Get upstairs right now." My stomach dropped, and I knew something was seriously wrong. I turned and I sprinted up the stairs. And as I'm running into my son's room, I almost know what I'm going to find. I see the closet, and I see the belt, and I see him. And I run to him to hold him, telling him I loved him. I think, Marsha, I think what to do next. I reach for the phone. I call 911. I'm praying for strength for both of us, all while I'm still trying to break up a fight that is going on. It is a complete out-of-body experience. I'm screaming at the phone, "Get here now, get here now." It feels like hours, and truly it's only minutes, and my house is flooded with police again. And it is another day that I have to call my husband to say, "We have a problem." And as the police are taking my son out of the house, the neighbors are all outside. They're used to this scene. They're pointing, they're watching, they're asking. And I can only imagine how easy it is to decide what is going on, and they couldn't have been more wrong. This was one of the most painful moments of my life and one of the worst things that I have ever seen. Seeing your son hanging in a closet, you just want to block that out. You just want to hide and make it go away. But you can't unsee something once you've seen it. I tried to figure out how this became my life. It didn't happen overnight. And it was about 5 years ago when we first found drugs in our home. We fought it. We always said no. It just became a monster that grew on its own. It stole our boys. It robbed our family of happiness, and it took away years that we will never get back. It completely changed the course of our lives. There was no shortage of advice from others. Be more stern. Take charge. Do you know what's going on with your boys? Why don't you do something? Be more relaxed. It's just a phase. They're all doing it. They're experimenting. Everyone is doing it. And one of my favorites, it's only pot. Everyone had advice for us. We begged for help everywhere. And we were told that because our boys were older than 14 years old, that they could decide if they wanted help, because that is the law in Canada. So as a parent, I was supposed to just sit and watch and wait for this phase to pass. My story tonight is not about my boys, and it's not about the day that I found my son hanging in the closet, and in fact, it's not even about me. It's about the lessons that I learned on this journey, a journey I did not ask for, I did not want, but it is what I have. It's with knowing with 100% certainty that I had to step out and to step up to share my story. People are hiding. They're suffering in silence, and they are hiding from the world because no one wants to talk about it. And that means someone has to. Over the past 5 years, I've continually asked myself the same questions over and over. How did this become my life? How did this happen? How did we get here? Why me? Why them? And the obvious, what did I do wrong? See, the story I've always told myself about myself was that I was a fixer. I could fix anything. Hard work, put my head down, persistence, I could fix any problem. But this wasn't working, and I wasn't fixing this. The missing piece to the equation was them. They were not ready yet. The only thing that I could do was control myself and how I responded to what we had. I wish I could say that it ended there, but in a better way, but it didn't. It was about 5 days later, and we were on our way home from seeing our son at the hospital. He spent a number of days there, and my husband got home before me. And the look on his face at the front door said it all. I knew the look. We both knew the look. He had found our older son in his bed, not responding, and we had to react very quickly. We had to call for help once again. But this time it was different, because when the police came, we insisted on charges being placed. And in the middle of that chaos, and in the worst week of our lives, I found clarity in one split second. And it had become crystal clear to me that I can't fix this. It's not mine to fix anymore. And for the first time in my life, I knew what it was like to have clarity, to know what my next step had to be, and to not worry or care what anyone thought, because it just didn't matter anymore. See, I'd been asking for help for so long, everywhere I could go, but secretly hiding it from the world, because I honestly couldn't believe that this was our life. When I look around, I see people who are hiding in shame, blaming themselves, blaming others, pointing fingers, feeling guilty, stuck in their stories, stuck in their head, judging each other, because we're constantly worried about what everyone else is going to think about us. Seriously? How much energy are we going to waste in that vicious circle? And how much time are we going to hide from the world and hide in the shadows, hoping and praying that no one knows our weaknesses, our stories, our faults, and our secrets? Guess what? We all have something. We all have a story. We can either choose to hide in it, or we can choose to stand on it. The more we hide in it, the more power we give to it. I learned the hard way that hiding solves nothing, it fixes nothing, and it changes nothing. I knew that if I wanted different results, I had to do something differently. I know what it's like to be pointed at, to be avoided, to be talked about, to be judged. And I knew that I had to find a way to let go of my fear of the judgment of others. Because honestly, who could judge me harder than I judged myself? I'd already done it. It was one of the biggest light bulbs for me to let go of. See, my story, it's not unique to me at all. It isn't. People are not responsible for the choices, the decisions, the actions of their kids, their parents, their spouse, their friends, or anyone else for that matter. We all have our own brain. We don't share it with anyone else. So if we could all stand up, let go of shame, own our stories, just imagine the amount of light we could create for each other to shine. Everyone is waiting for someone to go first, so I am here going first. When I learned to let go of my need to be the fixer and the controller, and I learned that hiding fixed nothing, and instead what it did, it was burying me in a hole that I almost didn't get out of. And I learned to let go of my shame and my blame. And instead of hiding, I decided to cast a huge spotlight on the issue, because it's time. It really is time. And when I did so, a massive weight was lifted off of my shoulders and off my heart. Who would have thought that by standing up and letting go would lead me to this point in my life where the lessons that I have learned have changed my life, and in fact, they've actually saved my life. And that is why I am just getting started with this message. Is it all better? No, we're not there yet. Do I still worry? Of course, I'm human. I love my boys, and I pray that this is part of their story. Neither one of them lives with us right now, and we are working on rebuilding relationships and being there for them, loving them and supporting them as best as we can in this moment in time. Do they have greatness within them? You bet they do. We all do. They are a work in progress, and we are all a work in progress. Thank you for being on this journey with me.